Welcome to the Solidified Podcast. How are you guys? I actually already recorded the podcast for this week, but then went ahead and deleted it yesterday. I was working in a fury of trying to get some digital products out, and my hard drive was out of space. Long story short, I just was deleting. I didn't even give a shit. It never even occurred to me that I would delete the podcast that I made. And I don't remember what I said. So this is the opportunity to pivot, go with the flow, not be in the bail zone. We're talking about the bail zone in a second, and to give you something that's a little more fresh and from the heart. So I have an exciting masterclass that's coming up this Tuesday called Velocity. If you're not already in, get yourself in the door. It's free, you guys. I'm not charging anything for it. The only thing you have to exchange with is time and your focus and your love. So if you are in the mood to give me your attention rather than money, then come Tuesday night. Velocity, who is this for? Velocity, the masterclass, is for the woman who is already an entrepreneur, or she is flirting with the idea and she's ready to jump in and open herself up more to her talents, to her skills, to her purpose. And if you already have a business, this is perfect for you because this is going to help you reach that next level. This is going to help you get out of your own way, build speed in your decision making time, and close that gap between when your soul download comes in, that big idea, and the actual moment you take action. That gap, if it's too long, too wide, we're going to talk about that's a big deal and not great in just a second. But that is the bail zone. And the longer the amount of time that gap is open, the greater the chances you are actually going to bail on your dreams. And this is a really big deal. This is a really big deal. So if that sounds like you, if you have a business, if you're just getting started in a business, or you have a mission and you're not yet sure how to start your business, you have a hobby or passion project and you hope one day to make that your full-time career and increase the amount of income that you're making for your family, then you need to be in the room this coming Tuesday night, the 30th. We start at 6:30 p.m. I'll be about 60 minutes long or so, okay? And you get a 3-day replay. And at the end of the masterclass, I'm going to be giving you an exclusive offer to join me in the next ecosystem that's opening up. So if you want to, and you're serious about being an entrepreneur and letting your soul connect you with other souls out there to transform and make impact in their lives, to start generating more revenue and wealth so that you can heal your own money wounds, so that we can circulate wealth in the most beautiful way possible, then get in the room, sign up for the masterclass. Below this video or this audio is the link to get in. So let's talk about why we need you in Velocity and what Velocity is all about. To get there, we need to talk about the bail zone. The bail zone is something new. This is in my ecosystem. If you've been watching me on social media, if you came to the recent keynote in Rochester, you know I've been talking about the bail zone. The bail zone is this really precarious place between when your soul gets its download, you get that hunch or that idea. Wow, you start to see the future. This is what I want. I want to start this business, or I want to start to do this in my life. It's between that moment and when you actually move forward on it. See, people tend to get the idea and wait. Have you ever done that? You get an idea and you're lit up from sacrum to cerebellum. And you're like, cool, this is going to be awesome. My life is going to be so amazing once I get going on this. And then hours go by, days go by, weeks, and it erodes. The idea, you forget about it, right? Until what happens? It comes back up again like a month later or 2 months later, sometimes around your certain parts of your cycle, like when you're getting ready to menstruate, or once a quarter, the idea will come back up and be like, hi, haven't forgot about me, have you? So there's a reason that happens, but also I want you to understand that you're not alone. But we do need you doing something about that because what you can't do is keep letting that happen. We can't leave that gap open between the soul download and taking action because of what happens. It erodes, the power of that dream decays. And the reason it decays is because you stay in your head. When you're in your head, we overanalyze, right? And overanalysis leads to paralysis. I love that little saying. That was my former mother in law, by the way. She overthought everything and never did anything for herself. I swear to God. Wonderful woman, but really never took action on her dreams. It was always, let me talk myself out of it, basically. By the way, the reason you want to know the deep, deep reason we're doing this, the deep shadow reason, is because we don't feel worthy. We don't feel worthy. When I started to realize this and did deeper worthiness work on myself, energy work that was about I am worthy of my dreams. I am worthy of making more money. I am worthy of being a highly paid motivational speaker. I am worthy of impacting millions of women. When I started working with the worthiness work, the WWW, everything changed for me. Not only did it give me more confidence, but I started to receive more. I started to open up because I didn't realize where I was blocking myself. And that is what we're doing. When we're in the bail zone and we initially start to overanalyze, we can hold ourselves prisoner there. And it's actually an unconscious desire to let that dream decay or erode so that we actually don't have to take action. Because if we don't have to take action on it, we don't have to shine. And part of the reason we don't want to shine is because we don't believe we're worthy of our own dreams, of our own desires. Who am I? Have you ever asked yourself that? Who am I to do that? Only like that cooler person does that. Or doesn't more like stronger athletes do that? Or isn't that just for wealthy people who've got their shit figured out? So we need to address that because the truth of the matter is if an idea comes to you, it's for you. No one else. Well, kind of. We'll get to that in a second. So, what I need you to understand is that there is an unconscious reason that you are probably holding yourself in that bail zone, keeping the gap open between soul download and action because we don't feel worthy of the things we actually desire. If that resonates, you've got to start doing some shadow work. You got to start getting to that, the heart of the matter. You've got to start doing some subconscious reprogramming, which I teach you how to do in Velocity. So come join me Tuesday night. We're going to talk about the subconscious reprogramming, and we're going to do it even more in the upcoming ecosystem called the Diamond Frequency University, DFU for short. We go deep into the woo and the do. We go deep into manifesting and subconscious reprogramming because quite honestly, if you don't remove that block, if you don't heal that, you'll never take action because it's so much easier to hide than actually show up and own what you're fully capable of, isn't it? So that's the first thing. The other thing is we just make a stinking habit of overthinking. We put too much merit in our minds and not enough in the heart and the soul and the body. Does that resonate? So we have to learn to tip the scales, or rather encompass both the head and the heart. Equal partners in this. Yes, the brain, the mind will always remind you of the times you failed in the past. Your brain, when you get a big idea, will always remind you of all the things you have to do, but we should start to say, thank you. Thank you, brain. I appreciate you giving me all of these ideas on ways that I might be setting myself up for failure. However, I'm also listening to my heart, and my heart, which is its own intelligence, which is a mini brain itself, scientists tell us. My heart is saying, this is for us. Plus, listen to this. You know it's for you because you got the idea in the first place. How many times have you gotten an idea and just brushed it off? A lot, right? We do this too much. You got to realize where your idea is coming from. Two places. One, God, the divine, and the collective. Ideas are requests. from other people around you that you haven't even met yet. And it's also from the universe, the source, the divine. And so it's divine assignment. That's why we call it divine assignment. So now that you know where your ideas come from, we need to start treating them with more respect, right? It's a pretty big deal. So now we understand where our ideas come from. Great. But we still got to deal with the gap. How do you close the gap once and for all and get out of that bail zone? Well, there is a methodology. I've learned how to do it several times in my life. Most recently, actually, I always have to apply it, but most recently, I was asked to do a keynote, and this was last Sunday in Rochester. And the day before, Saturday night, I'm talking with the event coordinator, and she's like, okay, so don't forget to get there early and set up your table. And I was like, my what? Yeah, she says, you got a table as a part of your package that you purchased. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know. I thought I was just paying for some advertising and to be a part of this. I didn't realize I got a table. So I said, nah, forget it. I don't have anything together. And I started to visualize the table that I wanted one day. I saw like the banners on either side, and I saw these table banners, and I saw this moving slideshow. Anyways, this really perfect professional table. And I had nothing prepared. So I said, no, thanks. And then immediately after telling her no, I recognized that I was making it about myself. And I was trying to make it perfect. Have you ever done that? Have you ever let perfectionism stop you in your tracks? Yeah, a lot of people do. And what we have to realize is that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. We don't need to be perfect. Perfectionism is a lie. It's a fallacy. It doesn't exist. But what does exist is action and strategy and a heart that is open to and an attitude of, I want to serve people. So, you know what I did? I immediately changed my thought process. I changed my attitude. And I started to think about, well, wouldn't it be nice? I thought to myself, Kim, if you actually had a place where people could come up and speak with you? Because the last time you were just walking around like a nomad and no one could really land with you in a spot and talk about your keynote with you and digest things with you. So I said, yeah, actually, I thought to myself, that would be pretty darn nice. I actually think a table would be good because even if one person came up after that keynote and we had a place to stand together and we had a place to connect and I could listen to her. And I started to think about that conversation in my mind. I started to visualize her happiness and her thanking me for showing up and for connecting with her and validating her and for her feeling like she was seen that day. And I thought about that and I said, you know what? It's time I start making more decisions in my life and in my business. And you guys listen up, you got to start doing the same. If you got a soul powered business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you got a big mission and you're starting to show up more and talk about that and be about that mission, you have to start making decisions not about you, but about your people. And so yes, Kim, the individual, wasn't quote unquote prepared and the table wouldn't be perfect, but I realized that my people didn't need me to be perfect. My people just needed me to be there. And I thought, they're not going to remember the table. They're going to remember the conversation. Yes, go. So I got myself out of the bail zone by thinking about who, WHO. And this is actually one of the steps of my 3-part method called the ARC method, ARC. R stands for remembering who. I'm going to teach you the other two, the A and the C, Tuesday night. So I'm not going to tell you here. You got to get into that masterclass to get the goods. But I just gave you what R is, and that is to remember who. When you remember who you're doing this for, when you can visualize with great detail what that person looks like and what your interaction is going to be, if you say yes, it's very hard to not go forward because we are all human beings. We're connected. We're moved through our mission. So I remembered my mission isn't for me. My mission is for other people. So I got back a hold of the event coordinator. I said, yep, I'll take that table. So I don't care. Even if I show up with a yellow legal pad and a pen and I got nothing but maybe a few business cards on the table. I want to be there and I want to connect because that's what's more powerful. Well, guess what? I was able to put some things together, work quickly, and actually make a couple really nice table designs and small banners. I was able to put some things together. I got up out of my desk, found stuff in my room, visualized the table, and I actually had a pretty damn good, beautiful table, considering I had less than 12 hours to put that thing together. And you want to know what happened? After my keynote, I had several women come up to my table and do exactly what I visualized. They landed at that table with me. We had a moment together. We connected, we bonded. They shared how much they loved my keynote. They shared that I really said the words that made them feel seen. All because I didn't let perfectionism stop me. You guys, this is what I'm talking about. When you're in the bail zone, perfectionism is one of the symptoms. So look out for that. Other people hide. They ignore the duty, the sacred calling. Another symptom is comparison. You just immediately start to think about, gosh, well, I'm not going to be as good as her. I'm not going to be good as that person. So why should I even bother? I'm going to teach you what these signs and symptoms are so you can start to identify when you're in the bail zone Tuesday night in the Velocity Masterclass. Because you got to be able to identify when you're in it to start to learn your patterns of why, how you get yourself into it. And then when you can recognize, like I did, oh shit, I'm in my own bail zone. I did it again. You can quickly use the ARC method, one of those 3 steps or all of them, to get yourself out. And then did you hear what I said after that? I got up from my desk. I started going around my office, getting objects together to think about the table. I took immediate action and I was, steadily and with speed moving forward to solve this problem and get it done. That is velocity. So the outcome, you guys, of closing that gap and getting yourself out of the bail zone is you enter into the energetic mindset of velocity. And people who are in velocity problem solve quickly. It's a pivot and a pivot and a pivot. Oh, I don't have that. Well, I've got that. I don't have a big stand up 6-foot banner. Well, I've got old notebooks from before and I can put them on the table. Okay, I don't have any props. Okay, well, I've got this thing behind me that's got feathers and fake succulents in it. I'll put that on the table. I'll grab some crystals. Yeah. This is perfect. I literally showed up with blank printer paper. I wrote on top email list, sign up. Guys, I was fluid. This was creative intelligence. How many of you could use some faster decision making in your life? Because really what that says is I'm pretty damn confident right now. I'm confident I can figure it out. That's what confidence is. It's not I know it all. It's I can figure it out. And that is an energetic state that you're in. It's not that I was running throughout the house. Like I'm not literally saying velocity as in I'm going from 0 to 100 physically. No, it's the opposite. I was actually very steady. I was very calm, but I didn't get distracted by the thoughts of you don't have anything for your table. I did a minute ago, but then I allowed myself to get out of that bail zone, close that gap, and boom, right into the state of velocity. So I'm just sailing over any chance of getting into another bail zone because they can pop up one after the other after another. Challenge after challenge after challenge is a bail zone waiting to happen. So when you learn the art of velocity, I also refer to it as a sacred speed because again, we're not just moving hastily. We're not rushing through the day. Velocity is this beautiful divine space of I am safe. I'm safe in my yes. I'm safe in my no. And I'm moving through my day with accuracy and excitement because I know who I'm doing this for. So if this sounds like you, if this sounds like this is something you need in your life because you're ready for that next level. You're ready to level up your presence. You're kind of been stuck at going live, maybe on Instagram once a week. You've been talking about the same old products and services here and there. You're feeling like, you know what? I could get a refresh up in here. I could get my energy reset. I want to access that next level so that I can reach more people. so that I can push back, push beyond what has been working and get into the next level of what is possible for you. If this is something your heart desires, if you're feeling lit up by this, then you are meant to be doing this work, baby. Velocity is open. The sign up link is below this. I would love it if you joined, guys. Don't forget, it's free. It's Tuesday night, the 30th. We start at 6:30. It'll be about an hour long. And what I'm going to be specifically giving you are that ARC method, which remember is that 3-part method to get you out of the bail zone. But I'm also going to be giving you the signs and symptoms of when you're in it so that you can look for your own MO. You can look for your own signs and symptoms to go, oh shit, I'm doing it again. Okay, now let me implement the ARC method and get out. Then we're going to talk about what to do when you're out, because getting into the state of velocity is your actual God-given skill. It is a natural state. And we're going to talk about how we've coupled this idea of recklessness with velocity. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's actually reckless to put on the brakes. Yeah. Did you feel that? It is reckless to put on the brakes. So we need to just shift our perspective here and decouple that velocity and moving fast in your life, like with fluidity and flow and consciousness and quick action and quick decision, is reckless, and start to couple it up with velocity is my natural state. So once you're in that state of flow, we have momentum, the winds at our back, we are sailing. And that is the most magnetic state you can be in, you guys. This is why velocity. So you're like, why, Kim? Why do I want to be moving so much faster? Yes, decision making sounds nice, but the why is because you're coming in with such opulence and confidence. And those factors make you irresistible to your soul aligned client. Those people who are meant to work with you are going to see you and instantly be drawn to you. So the last point I want to make here is, if you're like, where are more of my people? I seem to have reached a plateau with the number of people that are in my class, or the number of people that are showing up live, or the number of people signing up for my stuff. Then what we need to do is get you velocity, because not only does velocity work for you going out into the world, your output, but it's also for your input. Velocity speeds up the rate at which you attract what you desire to you. This is how we actually manifest. We manifest what we desire from this beautiful sacred speed, from your velocity. Instead of overthinking, we are moving with accuracy, safety, alignment, the right attitude, and it feels so freaking good in your body. Okay? So guys, I'm so excited to be teaching you this. This is seriously the number one gift I have, is pivoting quickly, teaching others how to do this too. Right now, a bunch of us just got done with the Diamond Lab. Shout out to anyone who's listening that was in that. You guys just pivoted like crazy. You picked up major velocity. Sarah, for example, was just like, I'm doing it. I'm making that bag. I'm sewing it tonight. It's no longer a non-negotiable. I just feel the velocity and I'm saying yes in a minute. She produced a product in a couple of hours. Sue, shout out to Sue. Sue had the same understanding. She goes, I could sit here and overthink this video I need to do for the assignment inside of Diamond Lab. I could overthink it. And she was starting to, she said last night. But then she recognized that she said, I just need to sit down and do it and just go for it. And I'll figure it out in the moment. Those are the words of women who are learning this methodology right now. And you could be learning that too, and starting to think, and not only think, but act like that. Act with the state of velocity. So guys, I will see you in the room Tuesday night if you're feeling that call. And thank you so much for listening.